Hi everyone, I want to share something that's been a game changer for my health. Organic Farmer. That's farmer with a PH and an ER. If you're looking for top quality, plant-based nutrition, you've got to check them out. Their products are crafted with the highest quality ingredients, free from artificial additives, and meticulously designed to support your overall well-being. It's like giving your body the pure, clean fuel it deserves. Head over to organicfarmer.com, that's farmer with a PH, and use code WITHOUTMAPS at checkout for 20% off site-wide. Trust me, your body will thank you. Welcome to Without Maps, the podcast. I'm your host, travel writer and rabble-rouser, Daniel Scheffler. For the last 2 decades, I've been working as a travel writer for publications like the New York Times, Condé Nast Traveler, and the Wall Street Journal. And I've traveled to about 130 countries and stayed at more than 2,500 hotels. If you don't know me at all, well, now is as good a time as ever to get acquainted. I was born in Africa, bred in Europe, and now I live in America. And with this mix of an accent and as much wit as I can muster up, I shall offer you some heart knowledge. This show is a delight of travel stories and some lessons from the world showcasing the humanity I believe in. This is what we call good old-fashioned storytelling. Some that will make you weep in a teacup or laugh inappropriately in public. Plus, interviews with some of the world's most compelling humans. My belief is that travel is a mirror of ourselves and a reminder to have zero expectations, to let connections happen, and to avoid the preconceived ideas we foster. The show is for people willing to forgo the guidebook and the map and let travel be their convoy. So, out with the biased and in with the unbidden. From the dive bars of New Jersey to the magic of New Delhi, from Disney to Denmark, I'll be sharing magical experiences and stories. As a travel writer, my typical month includes forcing my husband onto a flight to somewhere like Portugal to go buy leather gloves in the world's tiniest shop, or being saddled up on a mechanical bull at a gay rodeo in Dallas. Or I could be foraging with Aboriginals in Western Australia. So please join me as I venture into the world without maps. I'm here with my producer, Chandler, and we are recording from the iconic W Hotel Union Square that is about to reopen after some serious renovations. The architect David Rockwell did the original and now has been brought back to do the new iteration of the hotel. Now, in the 90s, the W Hotel was hot with the supermodels. I'm unsure if they'll be returning, but I'm sure a call to Cindy Crawford would be smart. But you know, Cindy's busy, and her daughter is perhaps who they should be calling and finding the new generation of supermodels and models to come and hang out here. But it is an iconic hotel, and that's why I chose to spend the day here to record my show. When I first arrived in New York, I came at sort of the end of the heyday. You know, these things move around, right? It was like when I arrived first, this is where you wanted to be seen. This is where you wanted to meet people. And this is where all the cool kids were coming to drink and party. And now this is time for them to redo that lifestyle brand. And I think it's a very exciting time. I mean, of course, David Rockwell is a legend. So it's part of that kind of 90s revolution, right? There's a part of that like 90s looking back to the future, bringing back some of these iconic 90s things, which we've been seeing in every possible facet, right? Whether it's the TV shows, it's the fashion, it's music. Well, it was only a matter of time before the W Hotel got in on that. So I'm excited to see how this is all going to pan out when they officially open in August. The land of the Berber hasn't changed. Adventure still conquers. The ancient Greeks believed that Atlas was the primordial titan who held up the sky. Today, we give a little nod to Atlas in all things cartography, and so can probably thank the divine being himself for separating the Sahara Desert from the Atlantic Ocean. It is right there where the Atlas Ranges kneel down just outside Marrakesh, the cultural and spiritual capital, for a passage to entry. I had prepared for this journey by pandering to more than enough of a spa fix at the La Sultana Riyadh that I'm both perfectly rested and sufficiently hydrated for a desert/mountainous tempo. I lazed around the traditional hammam for hours and practiced getting my sweat on. Surely the sandy mountains will take me now, with open arms and all. Usually people stay for about 20 minutes. You seem to have much more stamina, said Rashida, the La Sultana spa manager, with a glint in her eye. As convergence of the Middle East and Africa, this now modern country has historically acted as an egress to Europe. A sparkly airport, an endless row of yellow building cranes, and seemingly too many new condos spiral out from the old Arab Medina, still holding the city's core and its many religions and cultures. The world I recalled from my trip 10 years prior is mostly covered by dust, and the 21st century apparently. Chinese scooters have replaced the camels, tank tops slipped flesh on the streets. The king himself was ever progressive, and everyone in sight bore a smartphone. The mountains are calling, and I must go, or so said Yankee naturalist John Muir. It's easy to shake Marrakesh. A quick ride on a newish highway nips out of this fruitful metro of almost 2 million inhabitants. Morocco's Atlas Mountains are still the adventure seekers' playground today, and where the nomads left their track is where the 4x4 maniacs rally. And so it is right there where I vamoosed from civilization and headed into the notorious pink dust. Villages, with as many goats as people, ushered me in as the 4x4 jaunted its initial mounting. The sleek tar highway in fact disappeared a long time ago, and potholes plus a fine dust powder replaced it, like a veil thrown across the car, and perhaps even riled my eyes. But the endless mountains bend over backwards and reveal just a little white snowy lip on perhaps its highest peak, Jebel Toubkal. In the dust and Arabic-French conversation around me, I made out just flashes of the brawny ranges of Middle, High, and Anti-Atlas. Argan oil, endemic to Morocco, is available en masse, and my guide named Feta, yes, just like the cheese, he keeps reminding me, listed the benefits to hair, skin, and the even mind. In fact, argan oil demand has ballooned, so much so that the Moroccan government wants to double production in the next few years, with more and more women's cooperatives offering autonomy and added education to a society that has traditionally been much more male-dominated. So of course, I had to buy some, and buy some as gifts for all my feminist male and female friends, attaching the story as a postcard. But I was distracted. My goal was to head higher into the mountains, cruise into unexplored rivers, and back up onto peaks unnamed. Feta and his ever-smiling, never-speaking driver were both up for the challenge. I drove in silence for a few hours, and the idea of tectonic plates colliding and forming these wrinkles on this insignificant little patch of the universe brooded in my head as the hot wind hit my face through the open windows. Morocco, land of avifauna and all-day mint tea, had me hexed. Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, was officially over, and the fasting had ended. Villages were celebrating with tagines fat with goat and root vegetables, and mounted by couscous for the masses. As I careened by from the back seat of the 4x4, I watched women wave and children calling after me with chirpy smiles and dusty palms. These were part of the Berber people, descendants of the pre-Arab people of northern Africa, with nomadic adventure spirit to prove it. The Berbers, or as Feta points out, a wide range of ancestry and phenotypes, are also called Amazighs, or freeborns, and in 2011 were given full recognition in the new Moroccan constitution of their culture and language. We're going to take a little break to have a word from our sponsors. Hi everyone, I want to share something that's been a game changer for my health. Organic Farmer. That's farmer with a PH and an ER. If you're looking for top quality, plant-based nutrition, you've got to check them out. Their products are crafted with the highest quality ingredients, free from artificial additives, and meticulously designed to support your overall well-being. It's like giving your body the pure, clean fuel it deserves. Head over to organicfarmer.com, that's farmer with a PH, and use code WITHOUTMAPS at checkout for 20% off site-wide. Trust me, your body will thank you. When I was eventually ready to stop due to my hunger, envy, and that 40-degree heat thirst, the sun had seemed to halt in the sky and shadows were nowhere to be seen. I sneaked out of the car and darted to the nearest tree. My Nordic roots weren't exactly made for this heat, and Feta splashed water on me, possibly in fear that I'd overheat and die. He then chuckled to himself while he texted on his iPhone. I'm sure it was funny for him and the recipient. Lunch, which the Moroccans like to call second breakfast after the earlier morning raw yogurt with dates, was served sitting on the floor of a local man's humble home. Mohammed was his name, and his son commenced the feast with a washing of my hands. The Maghrebi tea ceremony, which an 1850s British merchant brought to the country, is an elaborate pouring and measuring of green tea, mint leaves, sugar, and a family secret combination of herbs. As the silvery pot poured the virescent liquid, Mohammed shared a proverb in French. The first glass is as gentle as life. The second glass is as strong as love. The third glass is as bitter as death. Beyond tea, Hobbs flatbread was served with amlu, which is a blend of toasted almonds, honey, and argan oil, and also semolina fried breads called harsha, which you dip in green olive oil from villages nearby. Mohammed's home overlooked an old town with the mosque rising with prayers that freed the valleys and hills from its loudspeakers. The sound had taken me by surprise. I'd forgotten the strong Islamic culture after seeing so many Western-dressed locals, all with iPhones, and hearing English all day. Out of respect, I remained quiet and mindful as I sat quietly on the woven red and pink mat, contemplating the reverence in this little town high up in the mountains. I met Mohammed's family before heading higher up into the hills, a collection of young sons and a daughter, who all wished me well for my journey and offered me a place to sleep should I ever return. Feta added that Mohammed suggested I bring my husband for a time-out vacation. Feta added that Mohammed suggested I bring my husband for a time-out vacation. I wasn't sure how that was ever communicated, or even lost in translation, but I left it with a smile. I left it with a smile and a shukran. I drove further into the mountains, and villages with Berbers were less and less frequent. The waterways, carefully routing the rivers to locals' farms, guided me up and farther away, farther away. What I couldn't stop thinking about as the terrain became rougher and more remote is how happy everyone seemed. The less they possessed, the more they were willing to share with me. The pink dust had finally coated me, and I was on my own adventure. After all, it's parlous to question one's purpose. So the point of the story, which I think is interesting here, is that against all odds, I'm in the rural mountains of Morocco. These people had no judgment of me and the fact that I had a husband, right? They were like, you and your husband are welcome to return and stay in our home. And that's something that just really stuck with me after this visit, because I'd been to Morocco before and I wasn't necessarily aware of this. But this trip, I was just like, oh, that goodness and that kind of non-judgmental thing was just so beautiful. And it was like, they didn't care that I was gay or that I had a husband. They just cared that they wanted to share their world and their kindness with me. What was more important to them was not, oh, we should judge this human. What was more important for them was, we should be hospitable and be our truthful selves and be kind. And that was such a It was a beautiful thing.
Give me a purpose for the Jersey dive bar too.
So I think for me, when I started thinking about New Jersey, I realized how judgy people can be of New Jersey, and that there's, as New Yorkers, we're often making fun of it as a place. And the irony, of course, is if you live in New Jersey, especially if you live in Hoboken or something like that, you have this gorgeous view of the city. The best view of the city is from New Jersey. Well, some of the best views of the city. Um, and I always felt like there was a sort of unfairness to the way that people judged New Jersey, because every time I'd been, whether it was down the shore with my husband's family, or whether I'd gone to visit friends, or I just had such a great time. Like, it was actually just really fun. And then I realized that I should uncover what that meant. Like, why was it more interesting than what I thought? What is this judgment about? And isn't that a great lesson to to go and do something that you think will be terrible, and then you go without the preconceived idea, and you're like, oh, I'm having the best time ever. And that's a great way to think about travel, right? You're like, oh, I think this experience is going to be one way. Well, once you let go of that, you can just let it happen however you want. And New Jersey is a great example of that, right? People have this judgment, but if you put that aside, well, it's right there. It's right outside the city. You can go to all these dive bars and have a great time, or you can go to Six Flags, or you could go down the shore, or you can go into the woods. Right? They have these sort of woodsy, beautiful woodsy areas. Or you can go to the mall. There's some great malls. Or the Montclair Art Museum, right? Like there's all this stuff there. But if you live this existence of always being so judgy of something, you'll miss out on so much to do. So I wrote it because I was kind of interested in, like, how do I uncover a place and make fun out of something that someone may not think is fun? So when one thinks of New Jersey, there is often the Bruce Springsteen reference or John Bon Jovi, but then there's also the Jim Tan Laundry Snooki reference, or the Sopranos suburban gangsters mafia reference. Those things are all partially true, but as Walt Whitman would say, we contain multitudes, right? Like New Jersey does too. There's not just one thing. And if you only think New Jersey has that, it's such a great opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to go and see all of that and some. Without Maps, the podcast is produced by Chandler Mays and written by me, Daniel Scheffler. Emotional support by Michael and the best dog in the world, Ella. Until the next episode, bon voyage and happy landings. Hi everyone, I want to share something that's been a game changer for my health. Organic Farmer. That's farmer with a PH and an ER. If you're looking for top quality, plant-based nutrition, you've got to check them out. Their products are crafted with the highest quality ingredients, free from artificial additives, and meticulously designed to support your overall well-being. It's like giving your body the pure, clean fuel it deserves. Head over to organicfarmer.com, that's farmer with a PH, and use code WithoutMaps at checkout for 20% off site-wide. Trust me, your body will thank you.